Calaroga Shark Media.
Scrubs, Season 10, Episode 4, My Poker Face, original air date, March 11th, 2026. Hello, I'm Johnny Mac, and can we cut to the chase of the 4 episodes we've seen so far? I think this one was the 4th best. Not too many laughs. I think I went through Act 1 without snickering at all. It's good to hang out with the old friends again. But I didn't see much comedy there until we got to a scene where we learned JD's new roommate is Chewbacca. That might have been a fantasy sequence, but that got a bona fide laugh out of me and the wife, as did a couple flashbacks to Turk doing the Macarena with retro hair. Those were funny, but most of the episode, not too many laughs there. The plot: JD organizes a poker night with Turk to recapture old times. Meanwhile, medical and surgical interns compete, and Elliot deals with a patient obsessed with social media. That patient, played by Matt Rife. Did you notice that was Matt Rife? It bothered some people on the internet. Now, hopefully the AI isn't hallucinating here. I asked it to generate a scene-by-scene summary, and I'll see if my memory still works. So we open up with JD narrating about how doctors often hide what they're really thinking. That goes with the theme of Poker Face, and we learn some things about some of our fellow cast members during the episode. Okay. JD suggests that they bring back poker night to recreate the bond they had early in their careers. Turk is all excited because Carla's going to be out and the daughters are at softball, and Turk's got 4 hours to himself, so he's like, yeah, I'm in. Meanwhile, the medical interns and the surgical interns are competing against each other around the hospital. At some point, JD and Turk get involved with that, but they kind of team up and teach the youngins how those two groups can get along. Elliot is treating a patient obsessed with social media. This is a guy that likes to work out a lot and post things online, played by Matt Rife. Judy Reyes doesn't appear in the episode. We do hear the voice of Carla. She calls Turk and lets Turk know that she doesn't have to work after all and should love to hang out with him. And she flashes him, is what is implied. So Turk picks boobs over poker. That makes JD sad. Eventually, JD and Turk kind of have it out at that. JD is a little jealous that Turk's got this family and he's home alone. And Turk is like, man, I would kill for some alone time. We get some new characters. There's a new janitor who's super friendly and really likes JD. And JD even jokes that he should learn the man's name at some point, but he does not. I continue to like Turk's apprentice. I don't know her name, but every time she's on the screen, I say to my wife, I really like her and I like her character. I should probably learn her name. The social media intern is named Tosh. That has somehow stuck in my brain because of comedian Daniel Tosh. Some notes I wrote down. One thing bothering me, the sets. What's with the blurry backgrounds? Like, you'll watch one scene and it looks like JD and Elliot are standing in front of a green screen of a fake hospital, and then the very next scene, there's clearly a practical desk set and half a hallway anyway, so I don't know what's going on there. I saw a couple of people in the Scrubs Reddit mention the blurry backgrounds are a little annoying. Some people on the Reddit are saying, so far in the new season, we're not really connecting with the patients. In the original series, we would spend more time with the patients. I'm not sure that's true. It may have been true this week, or maybe Matt Rife just doesn't have the gravitas to pull that off. But I think it's a fair note. The hospital does seem a little underpopulated. Already mentioned no Judy Reyes other than a voice cameo, and no John C. McGinley. Now, he will come back for 2 episodes. I've seen some spoilers, and I won't ruin it for you. But we will see Dr. Cox again. I was wondering about the Todd. Where's the Todd? Wouldn't the Todd be at poker night? That seems like exactly the kind of thing he would be all in on, right? And I'm also a little, not worried would be a little strong, it's a sitcom, but the Elliot character, because JD and Turk have each other to play off of, but Elliot really only has JD to play off. She doesn't really have a relationship with Turk, so Elliot right now is kind of on her own show. I know they're the 3 main leads, but it's clearly the Zach Braff show. The universe revolves around JD. It always did. He's the head narrator that we hear. But I don't think they figured out yet what to do with Elliot. In this episode, Elliot teams up with Dr. Sam Tosh. See, I thought her first name was Tosh. Elliot quickly diagnoses the patient as having scurvy. Elliot is a little mean to Tosh, almost in a Dr. Cox way, and starts calling Tosh Dr. Selfie. However, it turns out the scurvy was brought on by a lesser-known eating disorder called orthorexia. Apparently, people with orthorexia become obsessed with eating what they determine to be the healthiest diet possible, and that's what's happening to Matt Rife there. If Tosh had listened to Elliot and stopped using her phone all the time, they would have missed this diagnosis, so Elliot is forced to reevaluate her hard stance on how Tosh approaches her job. Elliot is also realizing, like we all do, getting a little older, and, you know what happens one day, you don't know how to program the microwave. We learned a little more about JD's children. There is at least a son named Ollie. Now, during the original Scrubs, JD and Kim had a son, Sam, in Season 7, Episode 2. That aired November 1st, 2007, so Sam would be almost 20 years old at this point, so Sam presumably in college somewhere. In the premiere of Season 10, we hear JD refer to kids, and in the now decanonized Season 9, JD and Elliot had a child together, so some people have been wondering, do they still have a kid together? Well, they do. There is a son named Ollie. JD mentions that he has Ollie next weekend, and that he has recently built his son a bunk bed. Well, let's do some more math. Season 9 of Scrubs debuted December 1st, 2009, so let's place it in 2010. They had a child together, so that child would be kind of 15, 16, and I'm being generous with the math. So Ollie's got to be the youngest if he's in a bunk bed. So is there another child? Well, the showrunner says no. The current canon is JD has two sons, Sam with Kim and Ollie with Elliot. So perhaps the timeline of when the child of JD and Elliot, perhaps the timeline has shifted. I will quote Mystery Science Theater 3000, who once wisely said, just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. Don't worry about it. Scrubs. Season 10, Episode 4. Not bad. Glad it was around. Not my favorite episode of all time. Not hilarious. Not sure it's one I'll think about other than Matt Rife appeared in it, but glad the show's around and looking forward to the return of Dr. Cox.